And so a lot of times we have all these issues and we try to deal with issues, other ways instead of getting to the root of the issue, which is sin. Sin is the root of the issue, right? And so he hid himself and he clothed himself, and we realize now that he didn't just clothe himself, with the fig leaves, but God talks to Adam and Eve and he says, listen, when you eat off the tree, you're going to die, right? The minute he said that, death was already in the play, right? It was already working. And so then he looks at Satan, right? And it's a lot of controversy on who this promise was given to. This is actually called the first promise, the first gospel promise, depending on what you read, what commentary you read. But if you Google it, you'll find it. And the promise is, I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed, and she shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. What does that mean? He says, Satan, because you took what belonged to Adam, you took dominion, you took power, you took rule, I'm going to send a seed on the earth that's going to restore back what you took. And I'm going to send a seed in the same place you took it. We realize that Adam and Eve did forfeit, right? The authority. We realize that, right? That's why in Luke chapter 4, when Jesus is up on the mountain, Satan appears and he says, listen, all the kingdoms of the world I'll give to you. I'll give it all to you if you bow down. He said it was delivered to me. Back in the book of Job, we realized that there's a council before heaven, right? And Satan appeared. And God said, Satan, where do you come from? He said, hey, I'm going to come from to and fro. See whom I may devour. He had the authority to walk to and fro on the earth because it was given to him by Adam. That's why he was there. Adam should have been there, not Satan. But he yielded that to Satan, right? And so the promise is that I'm going to send a seed that's going to cause problems for you on the earth. You're going to bruise his heel, but he's going to crush your head. I'm going to give you an illustration of that in a few seconds. And so Satan hears that promise, and he's shaken now because of that promise. And so we have to figure out how in the world